right? But the idea of rewilding is going one step further than biomimicry, right? Biomimicry is like Velcro. It's amazing, but it's mimicking the abundance of the natural world. Rewilding, we're not trying to mimic abundance, right? We're trying to nurture abundance, to create abundance, really to co-create abundance by becoming abundance itself.
Right. Listening to the Wildland Podcast with Morgan and Daniel Griffith.
Today, let's talk about the context of rewilding.
Yeah. Before we jump in, because I think the listeners are going to be hearing some mumbling and jumbling and scrumbling behind the mic here, we have Sequoia Haldis, our 6-month-old little baby girl. She is with us. For those listening or watching on YouTube, this is Sequoia. For those on podcasts, turn into our YouTube channel every now and again. Sequoia, don't eat that. You can't eat the mic. And you'll see some random kids every now and again making an appearance. But anyways, the first episode, the Wildland Podcast. What is the context of rewilding?
What is it?
Got it. So yes, let's do it. Let's dive in. So Isabella Tree, marvelous rewilder, if you will, from the UK, wrote a marvelous book about rewilding, but the subtitle I always found to be the most accurate and succinct definition of rewilding out there. It's the return of nature to the farm, right? I think so much of the regenerative movement of the sustainable agriculture, the permaculture, the local food movement has been built on the idea that, there used to be thousands of bisons and herds that can moved around by predators, blah, 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 blah. True. All of that is true. Right? But the idea of rewilding is going one step further than biomimicry, right? Biomimicry is like Velcro. It's amazing, but it's mimicking the abundance of the natural world. Rewilding, we're not trying to mimic abundance, right? We're trying to nurture abundance, to create abundance, really to co-create abundance by becoming abundance itself. Right? The term that we use here at Timshel Wildland, right, is that to harvest, we must first become. That relationship, that community is so present in the idea of rewilding because it's so present in nature itself, right? Said another way, the idea of rewilding is taking out the word natural when we talk about the world. It's not the civilized world and the natural world. It's just the world. Ms. Bean is loving this. Ms. Bean is loving this. Anyways, so that's rewilding. We run Timshel. Maybe that's a fine thing.
Yeah, what's Timshel? What are we? Who are we? Where are we?
Yeah, all great questions. Sequoia? No? She's mic shy.
Done?
Anyways, Timshel Wildland. This is our context. Daniel, myself, Morgan, my wife, Sequoia, Elowen, and Tecumseh, our 2 other children. We run and operate, I guess I should say we own, but I struggle with that word, that terminology, Timshel Wildland, 400-acre, regenerative, process-led and emergent conservation landscape here in Nelson County, Virginia. We operate what we understand to be the Piedmont ecoregion. And I bring this up only to say it's a very special place to be. At least I think it's really special. You have a nearly panoramic display of the Blue Ridge Mountains behind you. You got a coastal plains in front of you, and you exist on this really abundant edge system that is both mountainous and coastal, both hardwood and truly, truly beautiful forests and coastal plains, all in the same ecoregion. So it's a very special place to be. But it's not Timshel Farm, and I think this is where your question is getting at. It's called Timshel Wildland, and we call it the Wildland Project for a reason. Although this place might taste like a farm, look and smell like a farm, we have cows and pigs and sheep, the occasional chickens, ducks, turkeys, generally poultry, gardens and food forests, and we do quote unquote farm tours, although we call them wildland tours. The focus of Timshel, right, is not to, increase breed back percentages of our cattle brood herd, right? It's not to increase, lamb weaning weights or any of those sort of metrics. Those are important, absolutely important. The vision is whole systems resilience, right? I like to say it's uniform diversity in the sense that diversity is uniform across the landscape, right? We're not trying to we're not trying to cultivate abundance. We are becoming abundance itself, and therefore it is harvestable for all of the community, not just us, not for the rich, not just for the poor, but all of the community. the wild community, the human civilized community, and then in the future, as this thing emerges, as it becomes more uniform, the community. There's no difference between human and wild. That's the ultimate vision.
Right.
So, Koya, what do you think? Any corrections there? Ooh, plant. Ooh, plant. Again, I would urge you to check us out on YouTube here, not just this podcast audio version. Sequoia is quite entertaining. But that's it for this episode. These are short and intimate, real conversations about rewilding, ethic regeneration, conservation, land use, etc. Attempting to really get at the conversations and to challenge some of the things, some of the concepts, the philosophies, even the practices that the mainstream regenerative movements see as commonplace, right? And maybe in the intimacy and realness of these conversations in later episodes here in season 1, we can maybe dive into some of the more complex realities of life, of death, of rebirth, and talk about castration and weaning and do these things have a place, and what does it mean to rewild the land, and what does it mean to rewild ourselves? These are all topics we're looking forward to having in the future.
Right. Big conversations, sometimes hard conversations, hard questions, things we have to deal with, think through. Yeah, sometimes too hard. Yeah. You'll be napping for that one. With that, thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time on another episode of the Wildland Podcast. See you next time.